Welcome back, everybody, to Interview in Sports. My name is James, and today we're talking about who are the 5 players that are going to be breaking out in the year 2021. If you're interested in more videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe. We'll be doing videos all like this leading up to the NFL as Aaron Rodgers wants to fall off the desk, almost like he wants to leave the Green Bay Packers, but he didn't. So, of course, want to see more videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Top 5 offensive tackles video going out tomorrow, as this video is going out tonight. But without further ado, let's get right back in this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Calvin Ridley, we're going to talk about him. I don't know whether to include him as a breakout player, considering people know he's been good, but I just think he's been overshadowed by Julio Jones. I think he has all the stuff in the world to be a true number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. I think this is the year he proves why he is. This is the year that he proves that he can be the number one wide receiver in the NFL. I think he's going to be a breakout. Now, most people credit his success to Julio Jones. I think it's just because Ridley is a really good player. That's why I think Matt Ryan will be thrown to him a lot. He's going to be the primary target. Calvin Ridley is going to be a huge breakout star for the Falcons this year. I think he's going to go for 1,000 yards plus this year. Number 5 is a controversial one, and I know I'll get some hate for it. I do think it's Drew Lock. I've liked Drew Lock. Thought he should have gone in the first round. Obviously, may not have been correct. But look, he's got a defensive head coach, so he doesn't get any help there. But he's got all the weapons in the world. He got hurt early last year. I think that's why I've been wanting Drew Lock to succeed. I think it's that shoulder injury last year that nagged him on. I thought towards the end of 2019, he looked really good. I think he was, 4-1 in those starts. I think Drew Lock is going to come out this year. This is make or break a year. If he's bad, well, they got Bridgewater right there. So I think this is Drew Lock's year to prove why he is. He can be a starter. I don't think he's going to be exceptional, but I do think he's going to be good, and I think he's got the potential to be a starting caliber quarterback, at least average. He's just got to be average, and he gets a starting job, and he's better than he was last year. So right now, everybody's calling Drew Lock the worst starting quarterback in the league. I think he's got the potential this year to break out and prove why he is not the worst starting quarterback in the league. Up next, another Broncos player in Jerry Jeudy, former Alabama wide receiver. Last year, he had trouble catching the football. And of course, that's the one thing you gotta do when you're a wide receiver is catch the football. So, didn't really help him out there. But Jeudy has some of the most clean footwork, most crisp route running there is. He's Jeudy reminds me of an Davante Adams, because Davante Adams had trouble catching the football, but he was running the routes and he was creating separation. Jeudy can create separation and run routes really, really nicely. I think if he knows what he did wrong too. He admits he's just got to work on catching the football. He gets that down. He gets that worked out. Jerry Jeudy becomes one of the top receivers in the NFL. And I think he will. So that's why I think next year Jerry Jeudy is going to be one of the breakout stars for the Broncos, if Drew Lock can learn how to throw a football, which I think also he will. Number 3, Green Bay Packer, Rashaan Gary. Last year, had kind of a breakout year himself. Definitely improved from 2019, which is rookie year. I think definitely there was a huge improvement there. This year, I think just only more steps up for Rashaan Gary. So I think Rashaan Gary is going to come out, take another huge step up, especially with Preston Smith taking a pay cut. Zadarius Smith might be leaving next year. Of course, his cap hit's huge. So Rashaan Gary wants to prove that he can be this team's number 1 primary pass rusher. This is the year to do it. And I think he will. I think got the Rams defensive coordinator in Joe Barry. I think Joe Barry and Rashaan Gary are going to work very well together. And Rashaan Gary is just going to keep taking those steps up and being another step closer to being an elite pass rusher. Number 2, Auburn rookie, second-year player at Auburn. Carolina Panthers' Derrick Brown had 2 sacks last year, played 70% of the defensive snaps, 19 QB pressures. I think he's going to do a lot better. I think Derrick Brown is too talented not to do a lot better. What I remember from that rookie year was early, had unsportsmanlike conduct foul. That's what I remember. But I think Derrick Brown is going to be so much better. He's a defensive tackle. He's going to get more tackles for loss. I think in his second year, this time he'll have a camp, he'll have a preseason, he'll have more time to prepare. I think Derrick Brown is going to go into next season and be an absolute monster that I thought he could, being worthy of the number 7 overall pick. And finally, the guy who inspired me to make this video, inspired me to make the breakout player video. Who did I think it was going to be? I think it's going to be Jalen Reagor. People are always going to hate that Justin Jefferson was picked up. Nobody thought Justin Jefferson was going to be as good as he was. I thought he was going to be good. Didn't think he'd be like 1,200, 1,400 yards good. Okay, Justin Jefferson was obviously the best rookie wide receiver last year. I think Jalen Reagor is going to come out and have a huge breakout year. Kind of disappointing last year, especially for first-round pick standards that the Eagles wanted him to be. I think him and Jalen Hurts are going to have such a huge, good connection. I think it's going to be amazing. If you've been watching his camp videos, and he's the guy who I thought has been standing out most in training camp and these joint practices, Jalen Reagor. His videos going around of him making spectacular one-handed catches, keeping his feet in bounds, and creating good separation. And when he's not creating separation, you put him up there, give him a jump ball, he'll make the catch. That's what I've seen from him. I think him and Hurts are going to be great, especially Smith, Devontae Smith being out there. Reagor knows the offense. He already knows the offense with Nick is being going into his second year. I think Devontae Smith is going to be great. And I think Jalen Reagor is going to have a huge breakout year this year, especially with quarterback Jalen Hurts. I think those two are going to have some sort of connection, and they're just going to make it work. Because, again, showing at the training camp videos, Jalen Reagor has been the guy that I think is going to break out. I've seen it. I've studied some of the film, and you know what? More signs point to Jalen Reagor being one of the most breakout star candidates that there is. I think next year he's going to be a star. So, there you go. Those are my 5 or 6, actually, breakout players. You get Ridley, Drew Lock, Jerry Jeudy, Rashaan Gary, Derrick Brown, and Jalen Reagor. I just think he's going to be a huge, huge step better than what Jalen Reagor was in 2020. So, to my list, other guys out there for the Eagles, Cephas had a really good preseason run, especially with all these preseason games. We're seeing some of these young guys don't get to play. But I could make a whole video on the Eagles, on how Jalen Hurts could do. I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of topics going out. I'm just really excited for this NFL season to start. It can't come soon enough, kicking things off with the Cowboys, Buccaneers. But until then, we got a bunch of videos to make and standing predictions coming out the day before the first NFL game. It's going to be exciting. I'm ready for football season to start, ready for the playoffs, ready for more topics like these to come up. I'm just ready to see how these storylines play out over the year. Football time of the year is really just the best time of the season. So, Jalen Reagor is going to take a huge, huge, huge step up from where he was in 2020. Thank you for listening.